Hey guys, welcome once again to Giga Bytes Podcast. How you doing? My name is Ivan Colon El Giga. I'm the host of this podcast. If you haven't done so yet, you can follow me on social media, El Giga 947, or you can follow me on Facebook as El Giga. Also, please subscribe to the podcast so you can know when new episodes come up. Every week, I'm going to be doing at least one English-only podcast. It's usually in Spanish, but if you speak both languages, then you get to a little bit more content. So I'm going to see how this goes. This is my third English podcast. If it takes off, then I'll do more a week. So thanks a lot for all of you for your support. And we have a lot to talk about. A lot of things happened this week. A lot of rumors, a lot of announcements. We're going to be talking about WandaVision, the new Nintendo Direct that came out this week, with a lot of new Zelda news and a lot of games coming out for the Switch. We're going to talk about two characters that are back in the hands of Marvel. We're also going to talk about the movie Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Justice League gets a wide release, the Zack Snyder edition. We're also going to talk about two big Xbox news coming out this week, specifically the FPS Boost for the X Series consoles, and the new headset coming out for gamers looking for an official headset for the console. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about a big demo coming out this week, and also news of GDC and E3 that came out the last couple of days. So that's some of the things we're going to cover. Obviously, we're going to talk about BlitzCon and some of the big news coming out, and we have some big rumors coming out, and that's what we're going to start with. Big rumor coming out this week. Konami, one of the best-known all-time gaming publishers. They have some of the biggest franchises in gaming history: Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania, Bomberman, and a bunch of others. Right now, there's a big rumor that they're actually shopping around their IPs, not to sell them, but to see who can, if an external studio wants to develop these franchises, they probably can. So they're probably going to be still published by Konami, but they're not going to develop the games internally. And that's something that everybody assumed a couple of weeks ago. News came out that they consolidated all of their different studios into basically one big studio. And they actually said they're not dropping out of AAA development, but that appears not to be the case. They will have these titles apparently releasing sometime in the future. Nobody really knows what's going on there, but they are looking, apparently, if the rumors are correct, for developers that want to create content under the Konami banner and publish their games. It could be something like what From Software has done with Sony, with Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and all these games, and Bloodborne. It might be that kind of deal. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm a huge Metal Gear fan. I love Castlevania. I love Silent Hill. There's a lot of stuff going on with these games. If you haven't done so yet, too, I suggest you watch the Castlevania series on Netflix. It's great animation. It's really violent, but I think they did a great job. It's one of the best video game properties to have been adapted to streaming services or movies or TV. So if you haven't done so yet, please go and watch it. It's really fun. It's really well made. It's got a great voice cast. I think Richard Armitage is one of the characters. He plays Belmont. So, and if you don't know him, he's Thorin Oakenshield from the Hobbit movies. So it's got a great cast. We also know there's a new Metal Gear movie coming out from the director Buck Roberts, I think his name is. He did the Skull Island, and right now he's working on that movie. They actually cast Oscar Isaac as Solid Snake. So we have some talent there. Hopefully it's going to be a good movie. We've already had a Silent Hill film. And Silent Hill's the one that's really been on everybody's mind for a long time. There have been a lot of rumors. They actually thought, a lot of people thought it was going to be one of the surprise launch titles for the PS5, which obviously it wasn't. But apparently, Bluebird team they recently made the medium, and they've developed Layers of Fear and other horror games. That they're actually working with a well-known developer. They actually said this, or at least publisher, and everybody thinks they're actually doing a Silent Hill game, and it would make sense because one of the older rumors going around is that there's not going to be just one Silent Hill. They're actually doing at least a couple of Silent Hill games. There was a big rumor going around maybe a year ago that they talked to Supermassive Games, the creators of Until Dawn, which is awesome. I love that game. And they apparently couldn't reach an agreement, and that didn't happen. But apparently, at least 2 studios are working on 2 different Silent Hill games coming out. This might be further down the road. We don't know exactly when they're coming out, but it's still great news. I mean, even if it's 2-3 years down the road, if we get a Metal Gear, we get a Castlevania, well-made games, I'd be happy to try them out. I mean, they're all great series. Personally, I've never been really a big fan of the 3D Castlevania games. I really dig the 2D scrolling titles. Although I think if handed to somebody who can actually make a good game, a good 3D game, like this is just me with wishful thinking, but somebody like Ninja Theory, or maybe Santa Monica Studios, or a bunch of other studios have done great work with action adventure games, hack and slash titles. And if they do that with RPG elements, maybe even guerrilla games. Think about Horizon and an open world, not an open world, but basically an open world with vampires and werewolves and Belmont at the helm. With that whip crackling all over the place, that would be awesome. And actually, Santa Monica to me would be a dream mixture with Castlevania. Obviously, they got God of War. They're probably very busy, but if Sony keeps expanding their internal developers, it's something that could happen eventually down the road. Not realistically with Castlevania maybe, but maybe with another property, they might jump the ship and try to do something besides God of War, which would be great. I mean, I'm the biggest God of War fan, but if they can make 2 games, that'd be great. And we saw it with Insomniac with Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, and we've seen it with other Sony studios that have bridged out and done different types of games. Naughty Dog, they went from Crash Bandicoot to Uncharted and The Last of Us with Jak and Daxter in between. We've seen Insomniac with Ratchet and Spider-Man, like I just mentioned. We've seen Sucker Punch go from Sly Cooper to Infamous to Ghost of Tsushima, which is one of my favorite games this past gen. And we saw with Guerrilla with Killzone and with Horizon Zero Dawn, which is also one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite game this past gen. Out of every game that released last generation, I think the one I enjoyed the most is Horizon Zero Dawn. That's why Forbidden West is one of my top anticipated titles. Even though some of the best games I've ever played came out this past gen, games like The Last of Us and God of War and Spider-Man. There have been some great games coming out this past gen. So I just want to see good content. That's all I want to see. For if you really want me to be honest, and I think this is the healthiest mentality you can have as a gamer. I don't care which console it comes out on. I don't care who develops it. I don't care who publishes it. If it's good, it's good. It's great for the industry. People buying and playing more games. Hey man, that's my job. I mean, the more games we get, the better quality games we get, it's gonna be better for everybody. So this is a hobby, you know. This is my job, but I really enjoy getting that awesome game and just playing through it. And I gotta say, this is a small parenthesis. I've been working at this for 17 years, covering video games, and one of the best things about what I do, after obviously getting to play games for a living and review them and talk to the fans and have that interaction with other people that are also gamers. One of the things I enjoy the most, it happens once in a while. It's not something that happens all the time, but once in a while, and this is true for all gamers, I think, you get a game that is so good, that is so perfect for you, that you kind of get the feeling that, you know what, this is why I enjoy gaming. You might play a bunch of games that you love and entertain you, but there's always these few games that wow you, and you really get a feel for why you're a gamer, why you enjoy this pastime, why you enjoy this medium so much. And it also happens with movies, it happens with music. Some things just click with you, and it's happened to me these past 17 years. It happened with Horizon. It happened with Alan Wake a bunch of years ago, Okami, a bunch of games that I really loved that they just captured me, and I think that's really important for in the lifetime of a gamer to find these games that really suit you. It might be something that I don't enjoy it, and it might be your favorite game of all time, and that's why this is so fun. It's subjective. It's just so enjoyable to get those games in your hands, and every generation has at least a couple of them. This past generation was great. I mean, we saw so many high-level, great productions coming out basically yearly, or at least every couple of months, and it was amazing. I think it's one of the most consistent generations we've ever had. If you take into account the Wii U, the PS4, the Xbox One, and all the different iterations of the consoles, and the Switch, I mean, just go back and think about all the games you've played on these consoles. Even if you have one of them or two of them or whatever, so many great games, the first-party games, the great third-party titles that came out this gen. It's been a great time, and that's why I'm so excited for what's going to happen the next couple of years with the PS5 and the series of the Series X and S, and even with the Switch. I mean, we're going to be talking about that at the end of the podcast, but I saw a lot of cool things coming out of the recent Nintendo Direct. So there's a lot to uncover, a lot to cover right now. There's so much great stuff coming out. I mean, and most of the big games are coming out further down the road. I mean, Sony has a great release slate for 2021, and we have some great titles that have already been announced this year for either Xbox or Switch or for PlayStation. But, you know, most of what we're going to be playing this year hasn't even been announced or confirmed for this year. So it's going to be an amazing year. As a gamer, you have so much to look forward to. And I know a lot of you haven't really been able to find a PlayStation or an Xbox, or maybe that huge that amazing graphics card you want. If you want a 30 series for NVIDIA or some AMD cards, I know they're really hard to come by, but eventually you'll get your shot. And once you do, there's going to be a lot of content that you can enjoy. So I'm just thinking as a gamer, you know, well, I don't want to be stuck here just talking about the future, what's going on. I'm just really passionate about this. But there's other things going on, like BlitzCon. This is one of these events that usually I've never attended one. I got to be honest. I usually travel to either E3. I've been to the PlayStation Experience, and I've traveled for different media and video game events. But I've never been either to GDC, which we'll talk about soon, or BlitzCon. It's just something that hasn't happened, and I'm really sad because there was a huge possibility, if not for COVID, that I would have been at BlizzCon this year. So some of the news, we got some trailers for Overwatch 2. We got some slight news for Diablo 4. those games are far off. They're not coming this year. We heard about that before BlitzCon started. So, but one of the big things coming out, it's coming out in 2021. We got a new trailer and an announcement for Diablo 2 Resurrected, and it's coming to consoles. It's coming to PC. It's coming to every console. So that there's a great classic game. Revamped visuals. It's not really a remake, but it's essentially the same game. It runs at 60 FPS, and it's got better visuals. So that's one of the things, one of the biggest takes I've had from BlitzCon, and obviously all the new stuff coming out for Overwatch, which I love, and obviously for Diablo 4, which is way far off. That's one of the things I get asked a lot about Grand Theft Auto 6, and I know people want to play it, and it's been a long time since we had a new GTA game, but it's gonna take some time. I mean, last month was the best month GTA 5 has had since launch on the PlayStation 3. So it's been a long time, and it's still selling. It already sold 140 million units. So if you're put yourself into Take-Two's shoes. I mean, Rockstar Games. Why would you release a game right now? You can take all the time in the world. You're still selling as well as you've ever sold. The game's still popular. A lot of people playing it online. You're going to have a next-gen version this year that you're going to sell, and it's probably going to sell out immediately. PlayStation 5, if you have PS Plus, you're going to have the at least the multiplayer component. It's going to be included with PS Plus for the first 3 months it's available. Then it's yours. So you're going to have a massive amount of people playing the game again. Some people who even maybe haven't played the game and are coming back into the industry, which, well, at least on social media, a lot of people I talk to, not everybody's a hardcore gamer that's actually looking for the PS5 or the Xbox. There are a lot of people, because of the quarantine, they're looking for things to do. They used to be gamers maybe when they were kids, when they were young, and now they want to get back into it. They've seen everything that's going on in the gaming industry, how great the games look, how amazing they are. And a lot of people are stepping back in. So maybe some people haven't played GTA. Maybe they were too young when it came out, to 2013. Is that amazing or what? And still, it's probably going to be a couple of years until we get a GTA 6. So same thing with Overwatch and all these games. So let's just be a little bit patient. It'll eventually come out, and that's going to be okay. So talking about games that will come out eventually, on April 1st, we're going to be getting Outriders. But that's not all. This week, on February 25th, depends when you're listening to the podcast, there's going to be a free demo coming out. It's not a beta. It's a full-on demo. So one of the things that the devs said, it's published by Square Enix, your progress during the demo will be transferable. You can transfer it to the full version of the game. So that's amazing. I know people always ask that when there's a demo out, does the progress transfer? This case it does, because it's not a beta. It's actually a demo, and I got to play 4 hours of the game last year. Square Enix gave me a hands-on demo through the cloud. That's something that it's possible it's going to be more prevalent in the future. So I got to play a demo of the game for 4 hours, actually a little bit more than 4 hours, and I loved it. It's if you like Destiny or you enjoy The Division or any of these games, you're going to get a kick out of Outriders. It's a really cool game. It's not a live service, so once you buy the game, you actually get the full experience inside the title. So it's a 3-player co-op game. You can play it by yourself, but if you're playing with 3 players, it's going to be a lot more fun, and you get the added benefit that you have different classes you can pick, and each one has different abilities and special moves and quirks to the character that will really work well if you're working in tandem with other two players. So this is one of the games I'm really looking forward to. I thought it was going to come out at the beginning of the year. I don't mind it. Every time a game gets delayed, obviously I want to play them when they come out. I mean, when they originally are supposed to come out. But if it's going to make a better experience in the long run, I don't care. I just want the best possible version of each one of these games. So that's my take on it. I know people get really mad when games get delayed. It's part of the industry. Last year was totally unusual for everything worldwide. So a lot of people probably thought they would have the games ready on time, and apparently they didn't. So a couple of months more could mean a lot for polishing these titles. So I don't mind at all. It's an amazingly fun game. I hope people really enjoy the demo. I really enjoy what I played, but I want to play with friends. I played it with two other journalists I didn't really know. They were really cool and whatever, but it's different when you're actually playing with friends through the whole title. So Outriders Demo out February 25th for every console except the Switch, but it's coming out for all PlayStation 4 and 5 versions, or Xbox One and Series versions, and it's coming out for PC. It's going to be available for NVIDIA GeForce Now and on Steam. So it depends where you download it. You can actually carry over the progress once you get that version of the game on another platforms, on the same platform, once it comes out on April 1st. So that's great. Jumping on to the next topic, I talked a couple of minutes ago about GDC and E3. And I mentioned this about E3 a couple of shows ago. I've been going to E3 since 2004, and the show had changed a lot. And obviously, people still can't really attend these kinds of huge shows or events where a lot of people will be interacting. It's really not safe. It's smart not to do it this way. But GDC 2021 is confirmed to be all digital. Obviously, GDC is not a big deal in as far as the fans go. They usually don't get many news from GDC. Might get a couple of things, a couple of snippets of news, maybe some unions or between different companies, or minor game announcements. But you usually don't get massive gaming news, at least for the casual fan. It's a little bit more industry focused, like E3 used to be. But yeah, it's still gonna be digital. It's gonna be coming out in the next couple of months, and well, that's basically what's going on with GDC now. Why I mentioned E3, and it's I think it was on his podcast, Reggie Fils-Aimé. He used to be the Nintendo president. He actually talked about what's going on with E3, and he's basically said what most of us have been saying for the last couple of years. They need to right the ship. They really need to get back to what was the essence of E3. And he specifically talks about demos and allowing people to play games. And that's one of my biggest criticisms the last couple of years. Even though I've always, like, at least for the past, I don't know, 10, 12 years, I've had a media badge, and I've made my appointments. So I know what I'm getting into every time I go to E3. I know what I'm going to play. I know if it's going to be a hands-off demo or a hands-on demo. I don't mind hands-off demos, like somebody else from the publisher or the development team playing the game in front of us. If I can talk to them specifically or personally and ask them things like, if you do this, what happens? Just get a lay for the game. If you actually get to play the game, then that can really change your perception of what might be a great title or just a good title. So it's really important when you get to try these games. Like I always tell people, like my first E3 in 2004, I got to play the God of War demo, and it blew my mind. I just fell in love with that game, and nobody was playing it. Like I could basically walk up to the kiosk and just start the demo and play the game. I actually took a couple of discs they were giving away some demo disc, and I don't know, I got like 4 or 5 and I gave them away. And it was one of those things that if you don't play it, even if some of these smaller games or not well known properties, if you don't play them, it's really hard to get a feel for what's actually going on with these games. So I'm totally 100% with Reggie on that comment that you have to have some type of playable things on E3 at E3 to make it successful. And he actually said, like, if they don't figure it out, somebody else will. And I think that's a little jab because a couple of days during these announcements, Jeff Keighley basically confirmed that he's going to do Summer of Games again, which was great last year. And it was disorganized. I mean, it wasn't disorganized, but it was organized at the last minute. I'm sure it wasn't that pressured to get it done, but I think he did a great job. He's been a very important part of the industry, and even last year when he said he wasn't gonna do the whole E3 Coliseum thing, I know a lot of people that was one of the hardest knocks on E3 before they canceled it for 2020. So I don't know, man. I think he does have a shot. He does have a shot to have to make his own gaming event. But yeah, he had some great stuff last year from the Xbox demos. A lot of demos that came out. The new Unreal Engine PS5 demo that was so controversial, but it was the first time we actually saw something running on PS5. He had the DualSense reveal. He had a bunch of stuff. Not the reveal, but he had it like the first hands-on with DualSense. So he had a couple of good stuff coming out of the Summer of Games, and really a lot of devs probably were planning for E3. So this year it's going to be a little bit different, and it really depends on how big publishers like Activision and Ubisoft and PlayStation and Xbox view this. Because last year, even though a lot of people went were interviewed during the Summer of Games and all this stuff, we also got like he had the first hands-on for Astrobot, but we also got some big shows or big presentations from all these companies individually. Like you had the EA Play with Greg Miller, which was fun, but they didn't have much content. The PlayStation, the Road to PS5, or I don't remember the name of the big conference when they actually showed the PS5 and the price. That was another thing that actually we broke the internet basically. Xbox had their own things which were pretty popular too. Ubisoft had a great show with their Uplay events, so they might think it's better just to do their own stuff. You don't have to go after anybody else, or you can really plan out what you're gonna do, how you're gonna announce your new games, your new initiatives. If you have acquisitions or whatever, you get to do it on your own terms. So I think that's great. I don't know how it's gonna happen this year, and as a gaming journalist, it's probably gonna be a little bit more convoluted than it was last year, or than it's been for the past, I don't know, 10, 12 years. Still, I think there's a lot of room to improve and make things as best that they can, really. I mean, as a gamer, you want the best news. You want constant releases and news and all this information coming out steadily. And like for the beginning of this year, we really haven't gotten a lot. And even last year, there was a big drought. Everybody was up in arms about where are they going to announce the PS5, where's the Xbox, and all this time passed and nobody knew what was going on with either one of the either Microsoft or Xbox or PlayStation, I'm sorry. And it was a tough time being a journalist. You had to resort to rumors and speculations and just try to figure out what each one of the companies was doing. So it was tough sledding for a couple of weeks, for a couple of months really. Now next up to the next. Let's switch news. Let's go to two Xbox news that came out this week. Two big Xbox news that came out this week. First off, and I'm really excited about this. I really am. Xbox announced the Xbox wireless headset, which is coming out March 16th for $100, and it looks great. I mean, I really like the design. It looks comfortable. I really like the cups that you can twist them, and there you can decide what you want. If you want voice chat or the game chat or volume or whatever. It has Bluetooth. It will connect directly to the console without any type of dongle, so that's great. It actually has USB-C, which is great. 30 minutes of charge will provide 4 hours of battery life, and on 3 hours, it'll reach 15 hours of battery life. Obviously, like everything else that talks about battery life, it depends on the conditions. It depends how high you set the volume. Still, it sounds great, and it'll work on Xbox One, on Xbox Series X and S, and on Windows PC with an adapter. So that sounds great. They actually say that you can pair simultaneously. I'm sorry, you can pair them together, the headset and your phone and your Xbox. So they actually have an example that you can chat with friends or basically dial into a conference call on your phone and play on the console at the same time. So that's really awesome. I could be playing on the Xbox and talking to my friend on the phone who's playing on the PS5, and that's great. So that's one of the things that I think nobody expected. It's not the first headset that has that, but being a first-party headset, that's great. Also, they have a couple of other things. They're gonna have a bunch of different technologies that they can support, audio technologies like Windows Sonic, Dolby Atmos, DTS Headphone X. Those are some of the ones that are going to be available for the headset. I think for $100, it's great. I mean, it looks great. It has some an auto mute feature that when you're not talking, it'll just mute the mic. It's probably like a noise gate thing. It sounds great. It looks beautiful. I don't know. I'm dying to try it out. It does have a great EQ when you use it on the Xbox, so you can basically tailor your own experience depending how you like the sound. So I think that's great. It looks great. Like I said, it's really hard to come by right now. It really sold out immediately. I didn't even get a chance to try to get a pre-order in. So it's coming out, like I said, March 16th for $100. If you're able to get one, then you're gonna have the first party Xbox wireless headset. So I'm actually using a Corsair, the HS 75 XP, and I love them. They too connect directly to the Xbox. They got Dolby Atmos, but I really want to try out these original ones. If I like them, that's gonna be my go-to for the Xbox. And I really dig the whole Bluetooth thing that you can connect to your phone, and you can connect to the console at the same time. So that's great. The other thing that Microsoft announced that it's also great news for gamers and for Xbox fans, they implemented an FPS boost, and although it only has 5 games available right now, it apparently I haven't tried them out yet. I downloaded New Super Lucky Tale, which I had a long time ago, and I think Watch Dogs 2 I already downloaded on the Xbox, but I haven't been able to try them out. But it's basically without any type of help from the devs, they can boost the frame rate of different games. Right now, the 5 titles that are going to be available, it's New Super Lucky Tale, UFC 4, Watch Dogs 2, Sniper Elite 4, and Far Cry 4. And some of these games are doubled in performance, some of them even up to 4 times the performance. And it'll work on both Xbox Series S and X, And like I said, there's no need to change anything in the game code, like it might be on other games. It'll just work with these titles. It's a feature that you can turn off, same as auto HDR, which some titles might not be friendly with. So if you find a game that maybe you don't like the experience, you can actually turn it off and play it as they would as you would regularly without the FPS boost. It's still super cool right now. The only title of these 5 titles that has 120 frames per second is New Super Lucky's Tale, and I think in 4K, and that's awesome. So it, like, UFC runs at 60 FPS. So does Sniper Elite and Watch Dogs. So I think Far Cry too. I think all of them run at 60 FPS except New Super Lucky's Tale. So that's great news. It's free. It's already available. You can download it and you can just try them out. Some of these games are on Game Pass right now, and if you happen to have one of those, then be my guest. Just try them out. Obviously, if you want to try the 120 FPS mode, you're gonna need a compatible TV or monitor, and obviously with the HDMI that came with the console, you're good to go, so you don't have to buy anything else. After that, we actually have a worldwide release for Justice League, the Zack Snyder edition. It's gonna release everywhere the same day, so you won't have to wait if you're outside of the States. I mean, it's I don't know what to think about this movie. If you want me to be honest, like I'm a big comic book fan. I love superhero movies. But DC has been really, I don't know, they've been all over the place with the movies. I mean, I love Man of Steel. I really like Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm dying to see a new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. But I don't know. I mean, Justice League wasn't as horrible for me as it was for a lot of people. But I still don't know what adding basically 2 more hours to the movie, like doubling its runtime, will help out. I hope it's great. I hope it's the best DC movie we've ever seen. But who knows, man? Who knows? Like I said, it's going to be released worldwide on the same day. It'll release on the 18th of March. So it's a couple of weeks down the road. We're going to probably get more trailers, more news about the film. It's going to be releasing on HBO Max. So that's cool. I mean, everybody's gonna have a chance to see it. And by the way, HBO Max is amazing. I really love the service. It's got a lot of good content, and hopefully, we're gonna get a lot of good films this year. So if you're a DC fan, well, it's a short wait until we get Justice League, and hopefully it turns out as good as everybody thinks it will. Or at least as good as everybody hopes it will. So I'm dying to see it. I really wanna just sit down for 4 hours and see the movie. I really dig Zack Snyder. I know he's been on and off a couple of films, but I really think he can do a good job with this. Hopefully it's gonna be what we wanted originally. Although I think it's going to be a little bit hard because most of these characters, although we know the characters, we don't know the characters in this universe, most of them. And it's going to be a little bit hard to care for them. Like Cyborg and Flash. We've seen them in other mediums, and they're great characters, but you really have to set the stage. You can't really just take 90% of every character that's in your movie and just thirst them in. And try to make it cohesive and think you're gonna have Avengers. Marvel did it right, man. They set the stage. They waited. They grew their characters. They grew their roster. They made people care for their characters, and they had internal strife. So once you got the film, it was a big payoff. You know, it wasn't like what they did with Justice League, which was, you know what. You've seen these characters. Here you go. Enjoy them. I don't think it works that way. We've had some time since it released, so probably a lot of people know some of these characters a little bit better. Hopefully, they can flesh them out a little bit more. Like, for example, In Justice League, I think they really misused Wonder Woman. I think Gal Gadot was great on the on the first Wonder Woman movie, and even though she had a shot here to do well, at least it wasn't here. It wasn't Batman v Superman. She had a great intro, and I think her character was really fleshed out in that movie. But in Justice League, she didn't really have a big role in the film, and I think they misused her. Same with Flash, same with Batman. It just really made me mad just seeing Batman be this scared guy with a gun, and it was really weird. After the kick-ass scenes we had in the previous movie, which you saw him with that warehouse fight, fighting Superman, and just being a badass most of the time. So I don't know. Hopefully it turns out really well, and we'll see in basically a month. So Zack Snyder's Justice League will be on HBO Max, only on HBO Max, on March 18th, 2021. So you're going to have a chance to see it. Next news, we're going to stay in the superhero verse. This is great news. We don't know much about the movie, but Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is going to be directed by Sam Raimi, who did Spider-Man and the Evil Dead movies. He reunites with Danny Elfman for the score of the movie, and I love Danny Elfman. I think he's one of the best composers we have in film. Obviously, The Simpsons, most of the Tim Burton stuff. He's done a lot of great work, and I think for this kind of weird movie that we're going to be getting with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think it's just perfect. I could not imagine somebody else doing that. I haven't even thought about it, but yeah, Danny Elfman's is great, and just to get that score, I'm dying to see this movie. I'm dying to see what his score is going to be like. And obviously, we're going to talk about WandaVision, but WandaVision is going to be one of the it's going to lead into Multiverse of Madness and the new Spider-Man. So they all go hand in hand, and that's great. I mean, I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about WandaVision in a bit, but I still have some things I want to get out of the way before we talk about spoilers in WandaVision. Next up, great news for Marvel fans. Two of the characters that were basically put to screen on Netflix on their Marvel series are now back in the hands of Marvel, and these characters are Punisher and Jessica Jones. And I love both performances. I love both series have been great. I'm a big fan of Daredevil and what they did with the character on Netflix. I hope they don't recast these characters. John Bernthal he is the Punisher. It's like recasting Tony Stark. I mean, he really brought that character to life. I loved his season. His actual series was great. Jessica Jones, even though it was a slower series, I love Kristen Ritter and the character. I mean, she was Jessica Jones. So I hope they don't get recast. I hope they integrate them in some level, even if it's just making like another series for Disney Plus. I want to know if they're gonna actually if they're gonna keep the series on Netflix, or if they're gonna release them somehow or somewhere else, maybe in Hulu or whatever. I don't know what the deal was, so I don't know the possibilities of where they might end up. I think there's still some time before they can actually recover, or I don't know if they already did, with Daredevil and Iron Fist and Luke Cage, which, being completely honest, the only character I would recast would be Iron Fist. And the series wasn't that bad, but I think Finn Jones was just horribly miscast. And it's not his fault. It just, I don't know. He didn't really work out for that character. I enjoy what he did in Game of Thrones as Loras Tyrell, but I don't think he was a good Iron Fist at all. But the rest of the cast was decent. I mean, that show wasn't horrible, but he really was really miscast. It shouldn't have worked that way. So let's see if if we see him in some of the movies. Maybe they appear on some of the new shows coming out. Maybe on What If or whatever. So we'll see. So they're back in the hands of Marvel. I'm sure they'll use them. Hopefully, both John Berthal and Kristen Ritter get another shot, because they were doing a great job with the character. So that's my take. Now jumping forward, and this we're gonna talk about a little bit about the Nintendo Direct that came out this week. A lot of stuff, a lot of good news, a lot of games that were announced are also going to be in other systems. Most of them are coming out for PS4 and Xbox too. So we're going to get a good feel of when these games are coming out a little bit further down the road. I'm going to be talking about the Direct specifically soon. But there are 3 news that really stood up to me. Or stood out to me. First of all, Fall Guys is coming out for Xbox and Switch this summer. That's one of my favorite games from last year. I played that game so much. It is so fun. I love Fall Guys. I'm dying for everybody to get a chance to play it. And I think it's going to be perfect for Switch. I think it's really going to blow up again on Switch because of the audience and the ease of which you can just pick up and play that game. I gotta be honest, I've never won a single match, but it's still so fun, man. I put in at least 50 hours worth of multiplayer with some of my friends. So Fall Guys this summer on Xbox and Switch. Those are great news. Obviously, it didn't announce it's going to be on Xbox on the Direct, but afterwards, Xbox released a short trailer basically saying we're going to have it too. So that's great. Next up, some of the big news coming out of the Nintendo Direct are about The Legend of Zelda. And obviously, this year, it's going to be the 35th anniversary for Zelda and Link, obviously. And we got some kind of disappointing news. The sequel for Breath of the Wild will not be announced yet. Or basically, it just said development's going well, but they're still far off. So we won't be getting the actual game anytime soon. So I don't think it's coming out this year. I hope it would, but it would have been a great year to have God of War, Halo, and Zelda all facing one another. That would have been amazing. Or even Horizon, which they already faced each other with Zelda with the release of the Switch and the release of Horizon Zero Dawn. So it would have been a nice second round for both of them. We still don't know if it is coming out this year or not, but it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't really sound like it's going to be available this year. But we did have some good Zelda news. First of all, on July 16th, we're going to be getting The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. It originally released on 2011 for the Wii. And I got to be honest, that this is one of the least one of my least favorite 3D Zelda games. I really, I don't know. It had a lot to do with the motion controls, and that's something that really that makes me happy about this iteration of the game, because one of the things they did announce, it's gonna have better controls. They are gonna use the Joy-Cons to have a similar control scheme to what was available on the Switch, which used the Wii Motion Plus. So this should be a little bit more precise, but for people who hate motion controls like me, unless you're using VR, they're going to have a new control scheme, specifically for people who are going to be playing on the Nintendo Switch Lite, which does not have detachable Joy-Cons. And you're going to get a chance to control the Master Sword with the right analog stick. So it's going to be interesting to see if it actually works. I want to play the game again. It's not a bad game at all, but it just wasn't enjoyable with the whole motion control thing when I played it originally when it came out in 2011. You believe that? 10 years ago? That's amazing. This game came out 10 years ago, and that's the last Zelda we got before we got Breath of the Wild. And I gotta be honest too. I mean, Zelda's one of my all-time favorite franchises, but I'm not a big fan of Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's a great game, but it's kind of halfway through in my all-time favorite 3D Zelda games. My favorite all-time Zelda game is Wind Waker. So I wish, with all my heart, that they would release this for the Switch. I don't know. Breath of the Wild took away some of the things that I really enjoyed about the Zelda games. So with this new control system, with Skyward Sword, I really hope that I get a chance to just enjoy the game as it should be, because it wasn't a bad title at all, but the controls just dampened the whole experience for me. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Well, that's basically it for Zelda. Now I'm gonna talk about some of the best or biggest announcements that we got at the Nintendo Direct that happened on the 17th. So here we go. First of all, they announced Splatoon 3. It's coming out 2022, so it's far. It's a way off. It's really far away. Although, you know what, it sounds farther away than it is. They will have more news in the future, but you do have 4 versus 4 turf war matches and more. They didn't really go into details a lot about the game. I'm not a big fan of the series, but yeah, I know it has a huge following, so there you go. Also, we have some new characters for Smash Brothers, Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So these 2 characters are going to be available on Smash Brothers Ultimate Fighter Pass Volume 2. It'll have these, so it's going to be awesome. They don't have a release date yet, but yeah, if you're a fan of Smash Brothers, that's awesome. I haven't played the last Xenogears. They're great games, but I just haven't played them. They announced Mario Golf Super Rush. That one's coming out June 25th. So these are some really fun games. I'm not a big golfer, and you can play it using motion controls or just straight up the Joy-Cons regularly. It has local and online multiplayer modes, including Speed Golf, which looks really fun. It's just basically a time attack mode, but kind of weird seeing it in a golf game. They announced Project Triangle Strategy. It's a working title. It's a Square Enix game. It'll come out 2022. And it's going to be exclusive to Switch. So, free demo for the game will be available in Nintendo's Nintendo eShop on Nintendo Switch later today. And it looks like a traditional RPG, tactical RPG, like Final Fantasy Tactics. And it looks great. You know, I haven't played it yet. I have to play it. I forgot it came out. The demo came out. That was a long day. I did that. Then I did a live stream. Then I recorded everything for the TV show. So, yeah, I kind of forgot about the demo. Next up, they announced Star Wars Hunters, which is coming out 2021. It's not going to be exclusive to Switch, but it's going to be a third-person squad-based online multiplayer game. So it's going to be set between episodes 6 and 7. So it's going to be basically close to the Mandalorian timeline. I guess they'll have some of those characters feature in the game, but we really don't know. And the whole Hunters title, it's probably going to have some bounty hunters in it. Next up, they talked about Monster Hunter Rise. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the series, although the last game was really good. They're going to have a Deluxe Edition system. The game's coming out the 26th. Also, the Switch Monster Hunter Rise Deluxe Edition system will come out the same day. And they will also have a Switch Pro controller with Monster Hunter Rise design, like different art. It looks pretty cool for fans of the game. I mean, the game looks great. Like I said, I'm not saying it's bad at all. It's just it's not my type of game. They also announced Miitopia, which is coming out May 21st, and it's gonna be like a traditional turn-based RPG with your Mii characters. It looks fun. It looks kind of wacky. So yeah, I'm all for it. Knockout City, that's one of the other games coming out on May 21st, and it's going to be a team-based multiplayer game. It's kind of like a dodgeball game. It looks really fun. It looks great. Fall Guys already talked about. No street date yet. They're gonna have a DC superhero girls teen power game. That's coming out June 4th. It's for a younger audience, but it looks okay. It has Batgirl, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, and other different characters from DC Universe, and they're going to be available on the title. So that's coming out June 4th. They also announced Famicom Detective Club, two different titles coming out: The Missing Heir and The Girl Who Stands Behind. And these games apparently came out in Japan. They're text-based adventures. Think about something along the lines of Phoenix Wright, and that's basically what you have here. It looks fun, and obviously they have English text. They modernized the aesthetics of the game. This coming out May 14th. It really has me intrigued. I would play these games. Apex Legends is coming out March 9th. We already knew that. I don't. It didn't have a release date. You're gonna get a new legendary Pathfinder skin, 30 free levels for the Season 8 Mayhem Battle Pass. So, and you're gonna have Battle XP for the first 2 weeks after launch. So that's gonna be great, and it's gonna be cross-platform. So that's amazing. Another game coming out, and I'm trying to go through them as fast as I can. Plant vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville Complete Edition will be out March 19th, so that's coming out pretty soon. 8v8 multiplayer, turf war, turf takeover, and a bunch of other stuff. You can play online or solo. Now these games really are right up my alley. Legend of Mana is receiving a remastered HD graphics game. I love the Mana series, and it's going to be out June 24th. So I'm really excited about that one. Rearranged music, additional features, and it's just an all-time great game. Outer Wilds is finally coming to the console this summer. We don't really have a release date, but it looks really good. Samurai Warriors 5, it's coming out this summer too. World's End Club, that one will release May 28th. We have new content for Animal Crossing New Horizons, which has been huge for Nintendo. And they're celebrating Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary. And they're going to have a bunch of stuff. They're going to have like Super Mushroom, the Question Block. They're going to have Warp Pipes and a bunch of other stuff. They're going to have a free update March 1st. I mean, no, the free update is coming out next week, the 25th. And then March 1st, you're going to be able to start earning these different items in game. So that's really awesome. For fans of Zelda, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, they're going to have an expansion pass starting. It's already available for $20. And you get both waves of DLC as they are released. And the first one should come out May 28th. So that's basically it for Zelda. Then we have some classic games. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, which looks awesome, will be available next week on the 25th. Game looks great. It's going to have co-op play. Kind of weird co-op. You're going to have like some... It's not going to be like two different Sir Arthurs or Archie or whatever fighting the different demons. You can have like some... It's going to be like more of a support character. But it looks fun. It looks fun, and probably going to... mess up some Switch controllers once you throw them on the ground. It's gonna be it looks like it's gonna be a difficult game. If you're a fan of Capcom, they're gonna it already released. I haven't been able to try it yet, but the Capcom Arcade Collection, it's gonna have dozens of Capcom games, and you're gonna be able to buy like different packs. First off, you get 1943 Battle for Midway for free, and then you can purchase game packs. Like Ghosts and Goblins add-on, but some of the games that they have announced are really cool. Like they have a bunch of different titles from Capcom history releasing on this system. So let me see if I have the PDF. I'm not sure I really have it right here. Let me see. I actually went to the Capcom site. They have a press site. Let me see if I can put it up real quick. But really, it's if you like old school Capcom games, you're gonna enjoy this. I mean, It's like $40 for the full on experience, but you can buy the different packs for $15 each. They're from different eras. Here we go. So this is what we're gonna get. For the first era, it's 80s classics. They have Bionic Commando, Strider, and other games. Actually, Battle for Midway, that's the free title you're gonna get. So for the other, okay, let's see. I'm trying to figure out where the other games are. I actually downloaded this a couple of days ago. I can't find it. Can you believe that? But there you go. So here's what we're getting with Arcade Stadium, Capcom Arcade Stadium. So some of the games that are coming out are for pack number 1, Dawn of Arcades. That's 84 till 1988. You get Vulgus, Pirate Ship Himagaru, 1942, Commando, Section Z, Tataki no Banka, Legendary Wings, Bionic Commando, Forgotten Worlds, and Ghouls and Ghosts. Mega Pack number 2, that's Arcade Revolution from 89 to 92. You get Strider, Dynasty Wars, Final Fight, 1941, Counterattack, Seiho no Okami, 2, Mega Twins, Carrier Airwing, and Street Fighter 2, The World Warriors. Also, you get Captain Commando, Barth, Operation Thunderstorm. So those are some decent games, man. That's probably the best. I would get, if I would get one of these packs, I'd get possibly pack 2. Now, pack number 3, this is Arcade Evolution. It's from 92 to 2001. You would get Warriors of Fate, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Powered Gear, Strategic Variant Armor Equipment, Cyberbots, Full Metal Madness, 19XX, The War Against Destiny, Battle Circuit, Giga Wing, 1944, and The Loop Master and Pro Gear. So those are the titles coming out. You're going to have a lot of different options. You can turn out back the clock with game over situations. You can select in different game speed and difficulty levels. There's basically what we always get from these type of collections. So if you're an old school gamer, that's basically most of what you're going to get. Now, finishing off with what happened during the Nintendo Direct, they announced, we have a release date for No More Heroes 3. It's coming out August 27th, the day before my birthday. And it looks really good, man. I really enjoy how it looks. It has more of a, I don't know, like a Yakuza kind of feel. It looks really cool. Neon white looks amazing, too. It's a first-person action game. It's coming out this winter. Bravely Default 2, which is coming out soon. It's coming out next week on the 26th. They actually have a new demo that you can try out right now on Nintendo Switch, all for free. Then they talked about Tales from the Borderlands, which is coming out March 24th. If you never played this game, it's in the same family as the Game of Thrones game, as all the Telltale games, The Walking Dead, The Wolf Among Us, all these titles. And they're really fun. I'm not a huge Borderlands fan, but I love these games. The Tales from the Borderlands are super fun, super funny, and they're worth your time. They really are worth your time. So March 24th, if you haven't tried them out, they're going to be really cool to play on Switch. So, yeah, it's coming out the 24th. Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse is coming out March 16th. It looks okay. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of these games, but yeah, it's coming out. Hades, this is one of the games that really stood out last year. And it's coming out physically. A physical copy of the version of the game is coming out March 19th. So if you haven't played it yet, that's a good choice to get. It's one of those games that last year everybody had pinged. That's one of the best games of 2020. So yeah, try it out. It's from the same people that did Bastion. So that's going to be great. Another game coming out. This is coming out for a bunch of systems. It's coming out for Xbox and PlayStation on June 10th. It's a Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, and this is going to be a control breaker. Some people are going to throw their Switch across the room. They're really difficult games. It's going to have Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1 and 2. And the third one, I don't remember the name of the third one, but it's going to have all three. Ninja Gaiden games that came out from Team Ninja. Yeah, those are great games. Let's see how they stack up on the Switch, or if you want to play them on one of the other consoles. It's coming out for Xbox and PlayStation 2. Next up, this is the last game they announced. Well, not the last game, but the last remaining game that I haven't talked about yet. And it was Saga Frontier Remastered, and it's coming out April 15th. This is a great game. I've never really gotten into them, but I really love them. I think they're great titles. So if you're looking for another RPG type game for the Switch, then Saga Frontier, it's one of those titles you should look up when it comes out on April 15th. So there you go. That's what everything that was announced on Nintendo Direct. I think it was a great show. It was really balanced. Some of the time you get a feel that some of their announcements or either are too short or it's just what we expect from Nintendo. And this one really has some kick to it. A lot of different genres explored. I was talking about this last week on the live stream on Humble vs. Giga, or live stream every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We were talking about the what happened on the Nintendo Direct, and one of the things that really stood out to me is, you know what? It feels the Switch is starting to feel like the DS, and before you think I'm just attacking the Switch, I'm totally not. Like the Nintendo DS to me is one of the best ever consoles that I've ever used. It had a great library, and one of the things that really stood out on the DS over every other portable I've ever had, it was the variety of games. They had such massive support from everybody, and you could play any type of game. Unless you wanted to play sports games or first-person shooters, you had something you could enjoy in the console. I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite systems. And it had so many great games, like Professor Layton, and you had Phoenix Wright and Trauma Center, and you had all these weird titles, and then you had New Super Mario Brothers and Zelda. I don't remember the name of the game. The one with the train. I'll think about it. They had Phantom Hourglass. I think the name was called that's the name of the game, Phantom Hourglass. And they had so many good games, and I think the Switch started out as more of a traditional home console, and they have great games. Don't get me wrong, the Switch has amazing games. They've probably already surpassed 80 million units. They said 79 million a couple of weeks ago, so they probably surpassed that easily. But I think it's turning more into a portable system. And at least me personally, I never use it docked. The dock is just a charging station for me. I usually take the Switch and I take out the console and I use it portable at basically 99% of the time. I like a couple of weeks ago, I bought a new I don't know what do you call it, like some drawers for my bedroom, and I was moving some things around, and the HDMI for the Switch has been disconnected for I don't know how long, probably a couple of years. And it's not that I'm not using the system. I prefer to use it portable instead of just connecting it to my LG CX and seeing stretched out image. On the Switch, it looks awesome. I haven't tried Bowser's Fury yet. I contacted Nintendo. I don't know if I'm going to get a review unit or not, a copy or not. So right now I'm still thinking about getting the game and just reviewing it. But I wanted to see if I got an answer from my media contact. So that's where I'm at right now with Nintendo. I think they had a great show. Obviously, games like Ninja Gaiden and Fall Guys and Zelda, they're going to be huge on the Switch. So I'm really glad, man. I've been getting a lot of questions since last year. Like, when are the games coming out? When's Nintendo going to announce something else? When's Zelda coming out? But I think to make a great system, you do need strong first-party support. But you also need some variety. It can't be all Sony makes games for PlayStation and Nintendo makes games for Switch, or Xbox makes games for Xbox. You still need some other games from third parties to give you enough content to last you a year. I mean, I know not everybody plays 50 games a year, but you need some variety. You need, if you want to grow the industry, you need to have choices. You need to have different types of games, or different types of genres available for your system. I mean, I really love all this superhero stuff, the whole Marvel universe and DC and Star Wars, but sometimes I just want to watch an art film, an art house film. You know, I'm dying to see Nomadland. I'm gonna see if after I finish this, I can get a couple hours to see it. But yeah, I think having that mix, it's just beneficial for the system. And I know everybody asks about the new Switch. When's the new Switch coming out? If Nintendo's gonna have a new system, if they're gonna have like a Switch Pro or something. They don't need anything right now. They're selling way better than PlayStation and Xbox. They're still really hard to come by, the Switch, because they can't produce enough systems to quell the demand. So same thing has happened with PS5. But eventually, you're going to be able to get the system. Nintendo has all these games coming out. They don't need to really go into starting. I mean, they are preparing a new system, but they don't have to launch it this year. By no stretch of the imagination. They don't have to, you know. Eventually, they will. I think the specifically the SSDs on the new systems are gonna take a toll on the Switch third-party support eventually. That's why you're seeing these smaller games coming out. A lot of people are focusing on next gen, not on what's going on this gen. So we will get this eventually. So for the time being, I think the Switch is in a very good spot right now. So if you're a fan of the Switch, you got a bunch of games coming out the next 2 years. And I'm sure they're gonna have more announcements coming up. So that's all she wrote for the Nintendo Direct news. And I want to close real quick with some spoiler talk about WandaVision. First off, I heard everywhere that the last 3 episodes are going to be 1 hour long, and I was really excited. And then I got the latest episode, and I saw it wasn't an hour long, and I was so disappointed. And I gotta say, I really liked the reveals from this episode, but I think it's one of the weakest ones we've had in a couple of weeks. It wasn't bad. I mean, I've loved every episode of the series, but I think it's one of the weaker ones we've had recently. Obviously, it's a lot of setup. It's the first one that has a post-credit scene with Quicksilver and Monica Rambeau, which was awesome. It was really short, but it's awesome, and it really opens the doors for what's going on in the next 2 episodes. I really hope we do get a huge cameo or at least some indication of what's going on in the future. I'm sure they will. They definitely want to start off. I remember this is the first MCU show they're actually doing internally, and for Disney Plus. So if they want people to stay on and wait for Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki and Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and all these different series properties coming out for Disney Plus, they need a big splash closing up with WandaVision. Even though it's the most watched show in the world right now, I still think they really could go no wrong if they really bring out the guns and show us something huge like mutants or just, I don't know, or a classic character or whatever. That'll go a long way to really setting up the next phase. Some of the things I did like a lot, I love the whole interaction with Darcy and Vision. Obviously, even though, like I said, it was one of the weaker episodes we've had recently, it was really good. It's still really good. And the reveal at the end with the whole musical number with Agatha Harkness, which everybody had their finger right on the button. Everybody knew it was her, but it was still a cool reveal. The way they did it, and that she's controlling Wanda, and the whole song that she's really the villain. I think opens up a lot of doors for a lot of things that are gonna come out in the next two episodes, and the last two episodes. God, that just feels weird, right? Time goes on so fast. I love the series. I want to see how they close it out. I'm really getting excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier too. So we'll see. That's some of the things that happened that episode. Obviously, the scene at the end with Quicksilver and Monica. I don't know if that actually is Quicksilver, or if he's being controlled by Agatha or somebody else, or if it's just like a mental projection from Wanda, similar to what we see with Vision, in that classic scene from the series where you get the gray Vision with the head all messed up after Thanos took out the Infinity Stone. And we actually see a little bit of that when Wanda starts to like lose her cool, and she looks at Pietro, and he looks dead with gunshots all over the place, like what happened with Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. So excuse me. So there's a lot going on. Everybody has their theories. I'm still super stoked about the series. I think it's great. So we'll see. Next week, next Friday. That's all for the podcast today, people. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's an hour and 16 minutes. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me on social media. El Giga 947, ELGIGA 947. That's on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and you can follow me on Facebook as El Giga. So please subscribe to the podcast. Let me know what you think. If you want to hit me up through my social media channels, I can answer some questions. If there are some things that you want me to cover in the podcast, where that's a great place to start, just asking me and see if I can answer them next week's podcast. So thanks a lot for your time. Like I always say on my Spanish podcast, mi gente, keep on playing.